Welcome back to a further episode of Men's Inner Health with Mark Randall. In this conversation, I'd really like to look at the internalised anger that we men have at ourselves. Our external anger is well and truly documented in the world. Anger is an emotion, and it's a very well-known emotion that we men carry. There's a saying that anger is an emotion, violence is a behaviour. And violence does need to be changed in this society. It's just, is there really a need for it anymore? There's probably not. There's no saber-toothed tigers running around. Yeah, just remember, anger is an emotion, violence is a behaviour. External anger, again, men are good at that too. And underneath anger are a lot of other emotions: powerlessness, helplessness, shame, disappointment, anxiety. But rather than focus on external anger, which is well focused on in the world, how do we begin to look at the internalised anger that we men carry? That internalised anger is intense. Also too, sometimes men won't express that external anger, so they'll internalise it. And it's internalised at ourselves. I don't know whether it's appropriate on YouTube to express how intense that internalised anger can be. I might soften it a little bit. I'm not going to do it due justice, and perhaps technically shouldn't laugh at it. But it's incredible how harsh men are on themselves. They're kicking the living shit out of themselves. That internalised anger, it's loaded up with negative self-torture, negative, to the extreme of sometimes it's negative self-hatred. Is that helping us? No, it ain't. Anger is, as I said before, it's a healthy, normal emotion. When used appropriately, we can use external anger to set boundaries. We can use healthy anger as a gentle reminder, as a motivator. Sometimes, we've been a bit lazy, or we've been procrastinating. Using a gentle amount of anger. Come on, lazy bastard, kick yourself, lazy bastard, kick yourself out the door. Now that's not too bad, but this incessant, deep, critical, caning the living shit out of ourselves. Now, when we're caning the living shit out of ourselves internally, I'll ask people, the way you treat yourself with this internalised anger, would you treat a friend like that? The answer is no. Period. No. Well, if you don't treat a friend like that, where does it come from that you need to be treating yourself like that? Do you treat your children like that? No. Now, sometimes in life, guess what? We're going to get overwhelmed and we're not going to cope. But when we men are not coping, oh shit, out come the cavalry, the internal anger cavalry, and poof, it's just firing off all the "you useless piece of shit," da 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 da, and the list goes on. Now, in sessions here, I will verbalise all that internalised, and we can, when I'm mucking around doing it, it's humorous, but the humour is not making light of it. It's just speaking what doesn't get expressed. and labeling it and checking in on it. Now, when we're not coping, we're harsh on ourselves for not coping. We can't always cope. We're not expected to always cope. There are times where we're going to get overwhelmed, but because we get overwhelmed, we'll criticize ourselves, we'll put ourselves down for it. It's like, can we just accept that sometimes we're not coping, sometimes we're going to get overwhelmed? And yet when we're getting overwhelmed, there's too many tabs going on. The thinking, the 2 + 2 = 4 brain, it's over and it can't come up with 4, so then we're getting pissed off that we can't come up with 4. Hang on, right, this is not right. It's shocking. How do we stop and notice that internalized anger? How do we start? And I've had in my own history with anger that it's like a habit. You know, driving into work these days, you know, hit an orange light. The internal, and I've been really trying to notice that and just, okay, that's how it is. I've got a yellow light. Stop. Reframe it. Because anger, you know, that internalized anger, even at the light, what a waste of energy. We've only got so much energy in the day. What a beautiful opportunity to sit peacefully and listen quietly to a podcast. You know, how do we men start to look underneath this internalized anger? It's not helping. It's not good for our well-being. It's not good for our mental health. And it consumes a truckload of energy. It's very powerful. We need that energy. The brain has only got so much energy per day, and the brain's really smart. It'll take shortcuts because it uses about 30% of the petrol we put in the tank. Overthinking, overanalyzing, you know, criticizing ourselves, being really harsh on ourselves when we're not coping. Man, that's using a lot of that tank. You know, that's using a lot of that petrol. You know, how do we bring some kindness to ourselves? You know, that kindness we give to our kids, that kindness we give to our partners, that kindness we give to our friends. How do we start to rewire that brain of ours to start bringing love and kindness to ourselves? Yeah, when we're not coping. You know, how can we take the foot off the pedal? You know, instead of having them planted at 100%, is today, how do I take that pressure off? You know, just do it at 80% today. Okay, some of those jobs might have to wait till tomorrow or next week. It doesn't mean to say we're failed. You know, how do we shut down some of the tabs in that head of ours? And when we've got too many tabs, the old ADHD's running the show, and then we're getting pissed off at that. It's like, stop, breathe. The breathing is a very soothing, because when we're getting angry, our sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, and freeze is turned on. When we slowly breathe, use box breathing or just soften the breathing and soften, we're then going to bring in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to slow some of those thinking tabs down. Stop kicking the living shit out of yourselves. It ain't helping. It's damaging your self-esteem. It's damaging your confidence. It's damaging the connection to yourself. And how do we men start to open up, start opening our hearts up to ourselves and first and to others? By opening up to ourselves, we are then opening up to others. But that's the flow-on effect. How do we start to stop kicking the shit out of ourselves? Because when we're kicking the shit out of ourselves, then it's much easier for us to kick the shit out of others, metaphorically or verbally or emotionally. Yes, it has been physically for eons, and that's also got to stop. Be kind, be gentle and enjoy.